Yes, very true story. It's incredible sometimes when I think about how Amy became one of the first major label artists of my peers to co-sign my album before it got released. Because at that time in 2007, I was just pressing up draft copies and testing them out in the public just to see if people were digging the songs. I already had the MySpace and I was starting to get into the Twitter thing a little bit. So I was still doing the hand-to-hand thing, just letting people hear it, whether it be from a record label or whatever else have you. Anybody who was willing to listen, I always had copies of my CDs with me. So of course, on when we were rehearsing for the David Letterman show, the first rehearsal, Blake, Amy's boyfriend, was there, and we were just having a normal conversation about music, and he was saying how he definitely likes funk and R&B, but he was really into hip hop. And then all of a sudden, he said, yeah, Neil told me that you was doing some stuff of your own. You got some stuff that you're working on. I was like, yeah, I got an album I'm almost finished with, and I actually have a test copy right here. So I'm gonna give you a copy and let you listen to it and tell me what you think. I in no way ever thought that he was going to let Amy listen to it. I'm not one of those kind of people that go to a direct source and say, hey, listen to my stuff. It's more so it's like an unspoken rule in the industry to not bug people with your demo or your package or whatever have you. But because the conversation was there and he heard that I was working on some music, which I felt compelled to give it to him. And that was that. A couple of days later, on the set of David Letterman, where I met Amy for the very first time, Amy gave me a hug when I met her, and then Blake was right there, and he's like, Amy, this is the guy who I listened to last night. You said that you was really really liking it. And she's like, oh, that's you? Oh my God, that shit is the nuts. That was her favorite word for me. She would call me the nuts. She said, that's the nuts. You're the nuts. I love your voice and da da da. And I was like, thank you. That blew my mind. I just like I said, it's one thing when you have a legend or just regular music lovers telling you that your stuff is good. But then when you have somebody like Amy who was having the kind of impact that she was having in that year with her album being so critically acclaimed and selling this amount of copies, and then as we will learn later, she would win the Grammys. For her to say that about my album was just beauty personified and mind blowing. And eventually, because of the love she had for my music, I had suggested to Ray, if y'all ever need an opening act, for New York or whatever have you, we're right here. And they could have easily said, no, we're already covered, or no, Amy doesn't want to do it. I would have been totally fine. But once again, you can't argue with fate. And as fate would have it, Ray had reached back to me the week after we did the David Letterman show. She had a sold out show at the Highline Ballroom. As a matter of fact, she had 2 shows at the Highline Ballroom. And for those 2 shows, Republic Universal Records, which is the label that Amy was signed under, they already had their specific acts who they want to open up, which were signed acts. But Ray and Amy fought their record label to have Law as an opening act. He would tell me, he's like, oh man, they trying to give me hell because they won't let me do it. He said, well, I'm going to keep pushing because me and Amy really want you to open up for her. And that was just it. So they kept fighting, and I would have to say the Monday of the first show, I'll never forget it as long as I live, because Tuesday was the show that we would end up opening up for Amy on. But on that Monday, which was her first show at the Highline Ballroom, Ray gave me a call that night and was like, hey, y'all got it. Y'all only got 25, 30 minutes to do what y'all need to do. And that's just it. But just to know that we fought for y'all. So I'm forever in debt to Amy for that, because they didn't have to do that. I didn't ask Ray or Amy or any of the management to fight Universal Records to have us be an opening act. Like I said before, I was just in contempt and very happy on doing the David Letterman show, because right after that sold out show at the Highline Ballroom, which did a lot for our visibility in New York, then I got that call to do the 2007 show for the MTV Movie Awards. So, I mean, like I said, you can't argue with fate or destiny. God is in complete control. I didn't have to beg anybody or put a gun to somebody's head to make them check out what I was about. So the fact that Amy and her team saw that and reached out to me and wanted me to be a part of it as much as they wanted me to be a part of it, I'm just forever grateful and thankful. So that's the story behind that.